As the population increases and more orchards are being planted, issues have arisen when it comes to farming practices and the general population getting closer to each other. Farmers have faced backlash over using Airblast sprayers and not being mindful of pesticide drift. Even the most careful, responsible pesticide sprayer cannot control what happens to the pesticide droplets once they are released into the atmosphere. An Airblast sprayer uses a large fan powered by either a large onboard engine or through the tractor's PTO. It forces that air to propel pesticides up into the air, ideally to the top of the orchard canopy. California has a general prohibition of applying pesticides in an unsafe manner. Anyone found violating a provision of law relating to pesticides can be found guilty of a misdemeanor. The California Department of Pesticide Regulation has some guidelines to reduce drift. Applicators must avoid windy days, avoid high heat, and the most important, always read and follow the directions printed on the pesticide label. Pesticide product labels provide critical information about how to safely and legally handle and use pesticide products. Unlike most other types of product labels, pesticide labels are legally enforceable. All pesticide labels have this statement printed on it. Recently, a new law was passed, and it will give the Director of California Department of Pesticide Regulation the authority to issue fines up to $25,000 for each violation. The higher fines will hopefully incentivize farmers and pesticide applicators to be more careful and follow the rules. Two supervisors for Silker Orchards Management Corporation, which operate over 2,000 acres of fruit and nut orchards in the California Valley, have had minor incidents regarding pesticide drift over the years. The most common incident is drift in the air when a car is driving near the target area. If that happens, the managers inform them of the pesticides being applied and offer to pay for a car wash. That is usually the end of it, but there are instances where the driver does not stop and contacts the local agricultural commissioner and files a complaint. Another way that managers from Silker Orchards have reduced incidents is by instructing the applicators to turn off the valves of the Airblast sprayers 2 or 3 trees before the end of the line. Then they spray inward from the perimeter, being in a position where the operator along with another employee from a different vantage point can see oncoming traffic from a farther distance and have more time to react appropriately. This technique has reduced incidents substantially. Some new sprayers have nozzle check valves. These types of nozzles reduce drift and save pesticides because they only open when the valves are open and see pressure greater than the force of the spring that keeps them closed. Since the engine or PTO is still running, the fan is still spinning at high speed, and any drop that escapes once the valves are closed also gets propelled outward, potentially hitting a car or a bicycle. When the operator shuts off the valve, the pressure drops below the threshold and immediately shut off at each individual nozzle. The older equipment does not have these types of nozzles, and they will continue spraying for a few more seconds after the operator has turned off the valve and the nozzle manifold has emptied. Retrofitting older equipment with these types of nozzles will reduce the risk of pesticide drift, which is something I'm in the process of doing in my job at Silker Orchard. On one side, the general population has a right to not being hit by pesticide drift when they are traveling a public road, whether by automobile or by bicycle. It does not matter if it is water or the compound surround, which is a sunscreen for plants. The general population does not know what is being sprayed nor how dangerous it is. But on the other side, the general population must also understand that most farmers are trying to be as safe as possible. They have a job to do that requires calm, cool weather. If they have a pest that requires their immediate attention, they will try to work around the weather as much as possible, so they can get the pesticide out and reduce pest damage that will affect crop yields and thus their bottom line. Farmers do not want anyone to accidentally get sprayed, because not only may it become a huge liability, it may also remain in their conscience and forever wonder if that person will be okay. As long as both sides understand the concerns of the other party and watch out for each other, the number of incidents should be reduced.